Hello, and welcome to the Rag Company Podcast. I'm Dane Hennen. To my right, Levi Gates.
Hello.
Across from me, Anthony Fisher.
Oh, hey.
And to my left, Morgan McMurray.
Hello.
And, man, guys, we're at main show 88. When you get to episode 88, you're going to see some serious shiz, right?
Yes, Dane.
Yeah, that's what Doc
out
Brown
of time.
would say. Yeah,
Yes.
we're out of time.
Our
We're
flux
just starting.
capacitor.
We're not out of time. Okay, any rate. What happened this weekend? Let's just hop right into it. What's going on, guys?
Get in it. We're getting deep.
Well, yeah, it's I had no voice Friday.
Right, yeah, you were sounding a little
It was
off.
fun. No, we launched quite possibly the greatest video ever made here at TRC
Quite proud of
Studios.
that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it was difficult to shoot because of how much stuff was
Yeah.
going on the whole day. I mean, we were all there. It was crazy.
But that launched,
yeah.
dropped.
Which,
as they
by the
say.
way, if you haven't seen the One Wing Challenge, you need to go to
I
the
don't know
Rag Company
how
YouTube
you couldn't
channel
have seen it.
and go watch it right now. I feel like it's criminally low on views compared to where it should be. So let's get that moving.
Now,
Share it with a friend.
and the 3 auctions that are on eBay for the 3 different kits.
Those are doing well.
Those are
actually.
doing really well.
Yeah.
We're into the $1,200 to $1,500 range per kit
That's
right now
awesome.
at the moment. So
I'm waiting until the end to put my bid in.
Oh,
and
yeah?
Because I want. Yeah. There's a kit that I want. And I'm like, okay, I'll just hold out and then throw like $5,000 on the
that's a
table.
good idea. I like that.
It
You're gonna
sounds like
sell
a
the Civic.
great use of money. You know what,
I'm
though?
gonna
It
sell
is.
my car.
I'm
to do
gonna
that.
say it's a great use of money because 100% of those proceeds, all the money that goes into that, is going straight over to United. Cerebral
Technically, it's
Palsy.
a write-off.
So it's not the worst way to go.
Well,
Just
and
saying.
the thing is, with those kits, that it's not just a kit of tools and towels and pads and things
It's
like
a kit
that.
of memories.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a kit of memories, but then also, I mean, it's some of the only polishers out there that have been signed by so many awesome people.
Yeah.
In one room, and so you get the signatures on there.
He's just saying that because he signed it.
Well, all of us
yes.
signed those polishers
Yes.
that were there.
Yeah.
And then we also signed the banner.
Yeah.
There's a Rag Company banner in,
Yeah.
there, in each kit as well.
Mhm.
So,
Well, and then just keep in mind, you're getting a rotary. You're
Mm-hmm.
getting a Mark III 15. You're also getting a 75. I mean, you're
Yeah.
getting
That's pretty badass.
an
Yeah.
awesome set of tools.
yeah. I
So,
mean, you're pretty much set.
how many days left do we have on this?
I think there's 7 days left.
7 days.
So
So
it goes till the 22nd, right?
I believe so, yeah.
yeah. So if you guys are
10
listening
day.
to this, it's not too late to go put in your bid or
right.
begin watching those auctions, and hopefully you guys are feeling lucky.
Well, you can win it. That'd be rad.
Yeah.
People would do really well.
So
with that.
if people are looking for the auctions, I'll just reiterate. Go on to the Rag Company YouTube channel, find the One Wing Challenge video, and in the description on the video, you will find the links to each one of the kits. So you can find the Noxie kit, Jason's kit, Andy's kit, any one of those you can select and go check out, see the bids and all that business. So
you can
cool
also
stuff.
search on eBay under # One Wing Challenge.
That would
Pull
also
them up,
work.
too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
yeah,
So
no,
what
it
else
was
do you
I had a pretty lazy weekend. My kids spent the night at my mom's house Friday night.
do? Oh.
So Carly and I got a little date night action, which was fun.
Yeah.
And they stayed the whole night at my mom's, which was amazing. I stayed up till like 2 in the morning thinking that I was going to have to pick them up.
Yeah. The I want to go home nightmares.
Did you guys ever
or
do that?
something, or-
Did you guys ever do that? You had to go to your grandparents and you called your parents and said like, "I want to come home."
No, I was usually cool
Um,
doing that, but what about you?
No, I don't know. I don't think I ever at my grandparents said I wanted to go home, because typically if I'd stay at my grandparents' house, it'd be like a sleepover with my cousins,
Yeah.
and my cousins are a blast. So it'd be like be
More
a fun
fun.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Morgan?
My grandparents don't live in this state, so I never had that problem.
Oh, okay.
Well,
lucky for
so
you.
if you stayed at their house, then it wouldn't really be an option to
Right.
go back home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they did it, which I was very excited about. So, so we made it through, and then
Success.
yeah, Saturday I detailed my sister-in-law's Santa Fe, did the interior on it.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it wasn't too bad. So quick, easy job, got it knocked out. Saturday and Sunday we just kind of spent the day, milling around.
Yeah.
Carly and I are looking at putting some sort of patio cover or like gazebo or canopy of some
Pergola.
sort,
Yeah.
pergola
Mhm.
on our back patio. So we've been researching.
Should absolutely do that.
Units like
Those
that.
look awesome.
Well, and our backyard is south facing, so
Yeah.
it gets a little hot back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little covered area is nice.
Yeah. So, and we've got a longer overhang on the house, so that helps, but it's still there's no more trees back there. When we when we were looking at the house, there was trees in the backyard, in all the neighbors' yards. But then when we went in the middle, we were in literally, we were in contract, and I would take the kids there on a Saturday morning to just go hang out in the backyard of the new house, just to get them used to the property and stuff.
Yeah.
And one Saturday, I literally walked back there, and all the trees were cut down, and I was like, "What the?" All the neighbors had cut their trees down, and I was like,
what? They all
backyard
simultaneously decided to.
Yes.
That's weird. Like, I would be really upset as a homeowner if I was expecting.
They weren't
to
in
see
my
those
yard,
trees.
so
That's-
it didn't.
And that's the
like
problem
they
is
had the right
you got
to do
no
it.
Control
Right.
If it wasn't in your yard.
Yeah, but it was shocking to like come back at like one Saturday and go like, "Oh, this is great." It was spring,
Yeah.
and then to go back and go like, "Oh, there are no trees now."
Well,
Yeah, the
we
likelihood
do
is
it's
not
not
have.
too late to plant your own seed.
Always with the wisdom.
Yes.
Anthony.
It's true.
I mean,
I
I've-
could.
I've
It's
planted
now my
it.
own land, so I am
yet
allowed to.
I've yet to plant any seeds, but you can definitely plant.
That's true.
Some,
That is true.
Some seed.
So we're
Maybe
looking to
stick to
shade
roots.
it because it was a little hot last year. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that was my weekend. Pretty simple, pretty basic. Put a new stereo in the Suburban last night.
Yeah, I saw
Ragnarok.
the picture you
Yeah.
sent of just a bunch of wires sticking out of the dash. So I was hoping there was something to go and replace it.
No, but that is a mess of wires that I pulled. So,
Yeah.
fun fact. I sent this to Jeff and Carolyn and Dane and Anthony just because it was such a fun process. And Jeff and Carolyn were the previous owners of the Suburban, and easiest install I've ever done for a car stereo.
Well, you had the added benefit. There was already an aftermarket stereo.
That's
in there,
true.
So the harness was probably different from the OEM one that normally comes with it. It probably got changed beforehand, which
It did.
should have made the process easy.
Well, and all honesty, I order a lot of stuff from Crutchfield.com,
Okay,
which makes
yeah.
things extremely simple.
Yeah, they're great.
Crutchfield.com, the sponsor of
They
today's
are
podcast.
Amazing.
I wish they're not. but it
all
would
my
be nice.
all my car stereos and components I get from Crutchfield.com. Check them out. They're great pricing for if they would love to send me more
I believe
stuff.
they price match too.
They do. So
Well, their big thing is their instructions are always really
yeah,
good.
$90. I got a Bluetooth Kenwood unit
Ooh.
with auxiliary and USB.
Wow. So
and
you
a
charge
CD
your
player.
phone?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a luxury.
So right, everything. I'm in the future now.
Yeah,
Right? Because that was the biggest thing. So my kids,
2019.
every time they ride in the Suburban, they're like, "Can you put on this song?" And Carly and I go, "No."
Well, and you're already prepped them for when they're
Baby
teenagers
shark,
because
do, do,
eventually
do,
they're
do,
going to
do.
say, "Yo, Dad, toss me the aux cable," and you're
Yep.
going to say, "I got you, Lil A," and
Yep.
then you're going to throw it to him, and he's going to plug it in and
Yep,
print
exactly.
on his tunes.
Yeah, no, we had to teach them about CDs.
Mm.
So we had our CDs that we were trying to put in, and Anthony's phone's ringing over there. But we've been having to use CDs. So like I literally
Really
went through
slumming it.
I went through one of our storage bins and found our old CD collection and was blowing the dust off of it
Yeah.
so that I could listen to music in the Suburban, right?
Nice.
Because it's an older CD player.
Yeah.
However, now we have Bluetooth capability.
You listen to podcasts.
I was able to listen to a podcast this morning. I was able to drive in,
Yeah.
listening to some music from a playlist that I had just procured on Apple Music.
Wow.
So truly in the future now. But I want to thank your dad for replacing all the speakers in that Suburban
Yeah.
with very high-end units.
He
I haven't
saved
looked
ya.
and seen what they are, but I will tell you that thing hits so hard now.
Yeah.
We'll
Oh,
go
no,
out after
his-
this and
his
we'll
mission
play
was
some music.
He threw some beefy
He put some money into that
stuff
system.
into the back.
I
yeah.
really think you should put just a 10-inch into the very back.
There is one already stock.
Yeah.
There is?
Mhm.
There's
It's
a
a-
sub in that?
It's a Suburban, and
And there's tweeters in the
he
back.
got a big sub. in
D
the back.
pillars.
Oh,
Dude,
wow.
that thing is set up
It
with
bumps.
speakers.
Yeah.
It hits
Yeah.
hard.
It
I was
hits
gonna
hard?
say now
Wow, I
this
didn't know
is
that.
granted somebody who's a little more pure about their audio than someone else may not care, but like you do notice a difference when you're listening to something plugged in USB versus Bluetooth. I notice a
I
quality
absolutely
difference.
do.
I notice a quality difference between Amazon Music and Apple Music.
Now I listen to Spotify, but I set it to like the insane streaming mode, so it's like the highest quality possible.
Oh, that's
Oh.
why.
So it's like
yeah,
CD
yeah.
quality. Basically.
Yeah, that's why Dane has the best sounding tunes in his Miata.
Well, it's
when
funny.
he takes
My
5 minutes
Miata-
to set up his song before.
Well,
we
it's
drive.
impressive.
what I love
part
about
of
the
that.
Miata
It's part of the
is
experience.
Yeah.
when I got it, it had the stock stereo and the stock speakers. Those speakers were so sad. They were just they just sounded like somebody took cardboard and hooked a wire up to it. It was just like,
That's kind of what they are, actually.
yeah, it was really sad. So I
It's
replaced
just cardboard and wiring.
I replaced it with some Rockford
That's what
Fosgate
those
units.
speakers are.
The bumpiest ones I could find, since my particular Miata wasn't wired with like the headrest speakers like some of the cooler people get. No,
Did you get Terminators?
Mine was a base model. So I
Rockford Fosgate Terminators? That's what I have in the Elantra.
Yeah. I don't think I got Terminators.
On the subject
all
of
I know
car
is that
stereos.
they bump hard, but I stick to Pioneer units. I really like my Pioneer.
Yeah, see, and I like Kenwood.
I want to take
all my stuff's Kenwood.
Do you guys remember going into Best Buy and walking into, they used to have those big sound domes for speakers?
Yes. Yeah.
It
Morgan,
sucks that
do you remember that?
no longer have those.
That was like my favorite.
Watching?
Yeah, that was
that's my
favorite
place
thing.
to go.
Yeah,
you walk inside this dome thing that they built, and they have all the stereos and all the speakers, and you can just press buttons and hear all the different sounds.
It would change
speakers.
what unit you were listening to.
Yeah, you could change out the different head unit.
Yeah,
and then you could change out the different speakers, so you could build.
You could build your.
You could even add amplifiers.
And they had harnesses there and everything. And what sucks now, if you go to your, I mean, I don't know where everybody else is.
Say you go to your local Walmart.
But our Best Buy is literally has a, I don't know, probably like a 6x6 section of just head units.
Yeah.
And
there's only like 7 of them.
And they don't even have the speakers out anymore, so you can still buy them, but there's no way to test the sound. So you pretty much just have to jump online and look at reviews, which sucks. But it's
because everybody buys everything on
and
Amazon
then,
and stuff now.
Wait,
so.
Circuit freaking City, man.
No,
I
Ultimate.
love Circuit City.
Ultimate Electronics. Were you guys old enough for Ultimate Electronics?
Was there one in Boise?
There was one in Boise.
I only went to it twice, though.
Yeah, so it was.
Circuit City was my jam.
So Ultimate Electronics was a crazy. It was kind of like a Fry's. Like you could go in to Ultimate, and it was like that. Only they actually built a car.
Oh, really?
Right.
You could get in, and you had all these different, like the doors were different speakers.
But so Circuit City just had those. It was good vibes. I don't know how else to describe it. But like I liked going into a Circuit City. I knew everything was way overpriced. Obviously,
oh yeah, I remember buying.
They'd
my
usually
sidekicks
have
there.
like virtual
T-Mobile
playing
sidekicks
in the corner. You could go like stand in and start like
Yeah,
that was pretty fun.
I just
in the 90s.
Yeah, it was just a cool place, and I mean I remember going back and seeing all the cassette players, and I remember I remember when my family first moved here, our VHS player took a crap, and so we had to go and buy a new one, and we went down to Circuit City.
Oh God, remember rewinding?
No, the solo rewinders.
Morgan here's just like whoop.
No, I had to do that.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
She lived it for like 3 years, but no, I kind of miss those days, and it sucks that Circuit City went out. But what is interesting to watch is that there's actually quite a few YouTube videos on old abandoned Circuit Cities, like that were pretty much just left after they liquidated most of the stuff. It's pretty eerie to watch. I'd say look up on YouTube, type in abandoned Circuit Cities, and it's a very nostalgic thing, but it's creepy.
The Circuit City here in Boise, Idaho, is now the Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, that's right.
It sucks. It totally sucks.
Well, and the Ultimate Electronics turned into some
Zurchers.
It's Searchers now. Okay, yeah, party
store.
That's way too big.
You know what? Hey, Dane. You know what? With Boise, the way it's growing, I have no doubt in my mind that we could get a Fry's.
I would love to have a Fry's. Fry's. See, the problem is like we had Hastings. Hastings went away.
Loved Hastings.
Fry's is the combination of Hastings with Best Buy with Circuit City. It's like all your favorite things rolled into that one place. And that's why I really like Fry's.
And they have weird candy there that you can't.
You guys love Cracker Barrel. I love Fry's. Fry's is my Cracker Barrel of electronics.
Yeah, but you can't eat at Fry's.
sellers.
What I won't forget
You
is
actually
when we were at Fry's in Las Vegas and we were out checking things out. Tim goes over into the race car office chair section
and just starts throwing himself.
It's all the Twitch streamer chairs.
And he's like, and he takes his phone and he's like, yeah, but can yours do this? And he does the PewDiePie thing where he flips up the seat, flies back, and actually falls out.
Actually fell out of it. That was great. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
that was awesome. So anyways, all right. So you did that. And
that's what I did.
Dane,
so
nice.
Suburban Ragnarok is pounding hard now.
It's been pounded hard before. So Dane, what do you do?
Doors hammer. All right. So, in my case, I had a pretty chill weekend. Of course, I watched Game of Thrones.
Yep, I did as well.
That's what you do. And really enjoyed that. Apart from that, the main big thing I did this weekend was a whole lot of yard work. Like I actually went around, took care of all
mowed
the
my
weeds,
lawn. Yeah.
My yard is at that point where it's starting to become a mess, but it hasn't fully become a mess yet, so there's still time to turn it around. So I'm going back to it's that time.
Taking advantage of everything being dead.
Yeah,
still.
it's when all the weeds are starting to grow up, but you can pinpoint exactly where they are, and you're like, not today, and you just go in and you.
Dane went through and just poured ground clear on everything. Grass.
You say everything. That. That's exactly what I did.
He's like, I'm just not gonna have a yard this year.
I'm like,
rocks kill it all.
That's what's happening.
So all I can imagine is like Liz sitting in a chair drinking lemonade, watching Dane out there just spraying ground clear, and she's like, "It's gonna look great, honey. I love it."
Well, she was sweeping inside, so basically we're trying to prevent all the stuff that Callie tracks in. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because she's a big fluffy Pyrenees. Everything gets stuck in her fur.
Yeah.
She gets thistles. She gets branches. Anything that falls off the tree from my neighbor's yard. I have a huge tree in my neighbor's yard. It's deciduous.
Neighborhood kids get stuck.
It drops everything into my yard. But it's not my tree. It's their tree. So I pick up all the pieces.
Dane, who's this
tree.
kid?
What?
Fell out of Callie's fur.
It's
the neighbor
child.
kid again.
Like, Mommy.
I also realize I'm surrounded by like cool dogs. My backside neighbor over there, they have a husky who likes to stand on the roof because they're the only 2-story around. Most of these are single.
So the dog climbs on the roof of the house?
So here's what happens. Basically, they're the only 2-story house around, but it's kind of like a split level style where it's like 1.5 stories, right?
Right.
They have a daylight basement too.
Okay.
It's just high enough. They have like part of their house has a lower roof than the other. It's kind of sectioned off, and they have a back porch that's up high, and then you can go down into their yard. But their husky, being a husky, is naturally kind of mischievous. Walks over on the edge.
I think the word is smart.
I mean, they're smart.
How did it get on the roof of the house?
So walks off of the back porch up high and has just enough reach to get onto the roof next to it.
Smart animal.
And so sometimes Liz will say she's like coming home from running errands or something. She'll look up and she'll see a husky on the roof just watching cars go by. She's
Impressive.
Like, what?
If I was a dog, I'd like to do that as well, I think.
So, so it's just a big husky. He's very quiet. Very, very.
That's good. He doesn't have a barker.
He's very stoic, but he seems nice. And then on the other side, I've got a little border collie who's super sweet. And then on the other side, got a Samoyed.
Oh.
And its name is Nilla, as in Nilla wafer, because she's so white, I guess. But cool dog.
Nilla wafers are brown.
Yeah, I know. Just totally, totally not working. I'm just going based on
and
what
banana
flavored.
flavored.
I know.
So yellow.
I know. Maybe
right.
when it rains, she.
Yeah, maybe you never know.
I don't want to know where that goes. At any rate, so my issue.
So yard got cleaned up.
Yard got cleaned up. My neighbors, though, the ones with the Samoyed, their fence is starting to lean into my yard.
So you just took it down.
Or rather, my fence is leaning. It basically, depending on which way the wind is blowing, that poor fence is finally starting to give way. And the issue is, the rest of the fence is strong, but the 3 posts that make this particular section here are wooden, and they're clearly they like didn't have cement put into the base.
So did you pull the posts out with the Volvo?
So we're not doing it yet, but that's gonna happen in the next month. We're probably gonna replace that section of fence.
Are you gonna do it yourself?
Oh, I'm gonna help them with it, but
I mean, are you actually physically gonna pour concrete in the holes and put the posts in and find level and?
I'm not home enough to necessarily be there for the whole thing unless it's on a weekend. So
you're gonna write him a check.
I was basically gonna write him a check.
I see. Okay.
It depends. Like I would happily do that stuff if it was on a weekend, but they were talking about we'll hire a guy and he'll come and we'll do the thing. And I know that gets expensive for fences for sure.
I would take your Volvo and I would go to Home Depot and I would buy all the pieces.
Yeah.
And then give them to them and go, here you go. Here's the parts and I'll talk to you guys later.
Well, you know what else is expensive?
Because you'll spend like $40 on all that, or you can write a check for like $200.
Well, it's funny when you look at what fences cost to put up. If you have someone else do it, it's like $2,000 for like a 60-foot section. Holy,
But I was gonna say, so you know,
I love building
expensive.
fences.
Dane got his hospital bill last week.
Oh, that's right, for your surgery, exploratory surgery.
So Dane, what would that cost a normal person if I were to go in and want to get some holes in my stomach and
just put some holes in for fun,
fish around and finger it? What would
the doctor put his finger in?
People talk about like crazy medical bills, and I have like no frame of reference for what this kind of procedure normally.
Well, just say normal holes. Put a couple holes in you. Put their fingers in you for a bit. Push some stuff around, and then get back out.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's a combination of that with the urgent care visit with the other stuff. Like they pack it all together.
Well, right, yeah.
and then they send you
They
an
gotta
EOB,
check.
which
Yep.
is an explanation of benefits. If you're not insured, it's heinous.
How much was it, Dane?
$40,000.
So for those of you looking to get some holes put in you and have a doctor stick his
Do it
fingers
at
in
home.
you,
Do it at home.
do that at home.
Do it at home. It's
No,
cheaper?
don't do it at home because then you'll end up in the hospital anyway because you'll inevitably screw it up, and then you'll have that plus the bill for
Dane,
the hospital.
Dane, I have a steady hand, and I.
Do you have
You
a
just
steady
wipe
hand?
your hand-
Wow.
Wear rubber gloves.
I'm gonna
Oh
use
my
paint
God.
prep first off. I'm gonna
Paint prep. Yeah.
prep the surface.
Paint
get
prep
Some,
would
get
be
some,
perfect.
Razor blades for car wrapping.
Medical grade
Yeah.
And just-
detailing.
Well, we'll
cut
light
it
them with a lighter first
obviously.
to sterilize them.
Yeah, and then heat gun. Well, and heat and heat it
So
up to make it
all,
easier
all,
to cut.
all things considered, you know, with insurance, thank goodness for having insurance, although that's a whole other conversation. It's like paying for it at all is frustrating. But basically, I'm left with
Buying another
basically
Volvo.
a car payment. Basically,
Yeah.
the amount I owe is about the same as what my Volvo costs.
Yeah,
So that's cool.
No, yeah, it's
That's-
great, right?
That's neat.
Super fun.
Well, what's fun is
Great.
that you get to pay interest on those wounds,
Yeah.
and then you
That's
have
the
to
best
and
part.
you have to think you're
To
like
a non-profit hospital, you get to pay interest on the wound.
I mean, what's
America.
another car payment, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's super great.
It's a car payment that you don't get to do anything with.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, at
It's
least
like
with
it's
a car,
already
you get to
done.
drive.
What I might get not feeling like I'm turning inside out, I guess. So
yeah, and it's like, and it's not even like any bit faster or any bit cooler looking.
Oh no, I'm
They
still
actually- yeah.
chubby. So
Yeah.
They actually damaged the
Yeah.
actual in
Yeah.
order to fix it.
So speaking of new cars, Morgan spent the weekend down in Las
Yeah.
Vegas at Race Wars.
StanceWars.
Oh, StanceWars.
It was Race Wars.
Race Wars.
Johnny Tran was there, and he had at least $100,000 under the hood of his S2000.
And she came back with the Jetta, which is surprising.
Yeah.
You know,
Tell
I mean,
us
Hector
about
was
that.
running 3 Civics with spoon engines.
Well, that's
I mean,
one hell
that's
of a thing,
that's
right?
impressive. In and of
It's
itself.
okay.
Well-
You can tell us what really happened.
So,
Other than that, though.
other than that, how was Race Wars
So
2001?
well, the main thing that happened. Okay.
So start from the beginning. Friday morning, you weren't here.
No.
Okay, can I start this off by saying she's been looking forward to this for months.
Yeah,
Her
I know.
and Jimmy, our other video editor here, have been nonstop talking about
they've had it written on the calendar.
saying that this is the event of the year
Race
for
Wars,
the Stance
2001.
Kids. Race Wars, yeah. So right,
I didn't say that, but
continue. You did say all that.
no, I never said that. I can promise you. Anyway, so Thursday we got there. I would say like noonish,
Yeah.
and when we were driving there, okay, so first we rented that compound, right?
But nobody knows about this
Yeah,
compound.
please explain this compound. I saw pictures and it blew my mind.
So
this
on
place.
Airbnb, we were looking for. We didn't know.
Literally a compound.
Literally
A party
compound.
house.
We wanted to find a place that could have a lot of people in
Waco, 1994.
it.
Okay, too much.
So, we found one that said it slept 20 people. So we were like, okay, that's probably a pretty good.
That's a pretty big place.
Yeah. So we created a huge group message, and we added everybody in there, and we're like, all right, are you guys good with this place? This is how much we're each gonna owe for basically 2 nights because
Yeah.
a lot of people weren't coming until they were like driving in on Friday. So we got there Thursday. So we needed to find a place to stay Thursday
Mhm.
night. Okay, well, pulling into Vegas, we still didn't know where we were going to be sleeping that
Yeah,
night.
yeah. So you got on
Motel.
Priceline.com.
So we were looking at Airbnbs because typically Airbnbs are cheaper.
Yeah.
There was a lot of them that were like $18 a night, but
Someone's garage.
well, they had like
Closet.
minimum stays of like
Yeah,
2
okay.
nights. So we were like, oh, we're not gonna do that because we're going to the other place tomorrow night. So we just had to find a really cheap hotel.
Ah, lovely.
And we didn't choose the cheapest one because obviously we didn't want to die.
Yeah.
So we still picked one that was like close enough to the strip that it was like safe.
I think it gets
What
less safe.
was
the
it?
closer you get
What
to
was it called?
I don't remember.
Like, was
Called the Big Pillow.
Well, like, I mean, was like a smaller.
It was a
hotel,
bunch of
was
trailer
it
houses
one of the
stuck
bigger
together.
name hotels.
No, it
like-
was. I had no idea what it was. Let's just say the pictures that they had on the website were very deceiving.
Okay.
Kind of like
what?
every single ever.
Yeah, the bathroom tiles on the floor were like loose. And
Nice.
They were like
nice.
lifted, like individual ones.
Well,
and they were,
because someone
big
probably
ones.
stored drugs under there at least in
Probably.
the last week.
Was the
weren't-
hotel red and just a 2-story?
No.
Okay, never mind. That sounded very familiar.
Wait,
no.
was it a motel or a hotel?
It was a hotel.
Okay.
Okay, so doors
Alright.
on the inside.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So there was that, and we were like, oh my god, like, what, you know.
Yeah.
But we were like, it's fine. Like we're literally just.
Yeah, you're like,
sleeping
we're
here.
gonna sleep in one night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Life
we're
experiences.
sleeping here
Yeah.
for one night.
Good
It's
stories.
fine. Like the ceiling was like caving in.
Oh no.
The hallway was like really bumpy.
Oh.
And it was it was like all carpeted, but like it was really bumpy. So, we
So
were
like
It was
the
all the
building
bodies
was
they put
pretty
under the carpet.
close to getting demolished and
yeah,
replaced
yeah,
at
yeah,
some
yeah.
point.
So we were like, okay, like it's fine. Like this is our fault for waiting until we
As-
were pulling in to find something. So whatever. It only came out to like $80-$100 or something that we all split. So
That's easy.
that was
enough.
fine. So anyway, we were like, okay, well, we're not even really gonna be here. It doesn't matter. Like, let's just put our stuff in and go out and hang out, get food, whatever. So we did that, and then we slept there. The next morning, we woke up and we could finally go to the real Airbnb that we'd been waiting to go to. This was like the fun part because everyone was gonna be, together
Yeah.
at this place. So we get there. And everyone's like unloading their stuff. There's a whole bunch of room for parking. Like there's a back driveway area that like goes around to the basketball court, and there's like lights, like string lights across, so it like looked really cool. So everyone was like pulling in their cars, parking, and we were all loading our stuff in. There was like a VR room there that was
Wow.
that was really cool. We never actually got to use it because we weren't really
Oh.
there, but
busy.
yeah, so that was Friday, right? So this is our first night staying, and so we're like, okay, like let's just hang out here tonight and like have fun, whatever. So I was really tired because the night before we didn't get back to that weird hotel until like 2 a.m. or whatever,
Yeah.
and then we woke up early because we wanted to have time to do stuff. So we woke up at like 8, so we only slept for like 5 hours or whatever. So I was tired on Friday night.
Yeah.
So everyone else was hanging out in the kitchen, by the pool, like wherever in the backyard. And I was like, okay, well, I'm tired, so I'm just going to go lay down and then I'll get back up. So I went to bed at like 10 and just went and laid
Woke
down.
up the next morning.
So I wake up to the sound of a car alarm going off out front. And I'm
Cool.
like, but sometimes when you have loud cars,
Yeah.
they set off car alarms. Somebody pulls in. There was people coming and going.
Yeah.
So we still had people that were just now getting there. And I was like, okay, like somebody is just getting here. Their car set off, a car alarm. And so it's still going. It's
What
not,
time is this?
This was about 2 a.m.
'Kay.
Okay.
Oh.
So I'm like, the car alarm's still going off, and I'm like, I'm not going to get up.
But it wasn't your car alarm.
No.
Okay.
My car wasn't there.
Okay.
So I'm hearing this car alarm go off, and I'm like, whatever. But I'm like basically still asleep.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what time it was because my phone was plugged in, like across the room. So I didn't know what time it was. I was just like laying there, and it was still going off. And then I hear a bunch of people start running. And then I hear
In the house?
Oh no.
in the house.
Mhm.
And I hear the car leaving. There was a car leaving, and the car alarm was still going off. And the car alarm started to slowly get quieter and quieter and quieter.
No.
So
Johnny Tran.
I'm like,
Holy
This
And his
Race
group
seriously
of-
wars,
happened?
Race wars.
is a thing now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
So Johnny
I'm
Tran
like-
and his gang rolled
So
up
we've
on some Groms.
Filed a police report.
so we're all there, and Brandon and like a bunch of other people ran out. So basically, the compound was gated.
Right.
There was two huge like gates that you would see like to a whole neighborhood because
Right.
this was a huge place. And so the gates were open because there were still people coming in and out. Our friends were still coming and going, so they left the gates open.
Isn't there like a gate code they could give to people?
No, it didn't have a code on it.
Oh.
It was a chain.
So we
okay.
defeated the purpose of having a gate by just leaving it
Right.
open.
Right.
Okay.
But being from Boise, Idaho,
we don't lock our doors.
Yeah. So
okay, they're also kids going out and doing this for the first time. Boise kids going out to a big city for the first time. So
going to Race Wars.
So we met a bunch of people from like Arizona, Utah, LA, a bunch of different places. But everyone wasn't really thinking about we need to.
Hey,
there's
who's
cameras
closing the gate?
everywhere, whatever. So
how close was the compound house to other houses, other neighborhoods, other stuff? Was it like isolated, or was it?
It wasn't isolated, but
stuff?
there was like houses surrounding it.
Okay.
But they were just regular houses, and then there was this giant compound in the middle, which I think used to be a business. So it still looked like a business. It didn't look like a residential place.
Gotcha. Okay, so continue. Everybody's running out.
So people, I was still in bed, but I'm hearing people like running outside, like doors. No one, letting the door close quietly behind them.
Yeah, they're all just slamming.
They're just blowing through the door, and like the door is slamming and everything. I'm like, what is going on? But like the car alarm's gone. So
it stopped. You're like,
I'm like, oh, okay. Like they just went out there to turn off somebody's car alarm, and so I was trying to go back to sleep, and then I couldn't sleep because everyone was super loud, and so I got up, looked at my phone, and I was trying to figure out like, oh, what time is it? Blah blah blah, and then. A couple of my friends came into the room, and they were like, do you know what just happened? And I was like, no, I heard a car alarm going off. Like, what happened? And they were like, someone's car just got stolen. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Whose car? And what car was it?
What car?
It was a Honda Accord.
Of all the cars they could have picked, they chose an Accord.
Super glad that I didn't take my Civic down there.
Oh, man.
Your Civic would have been
They would have chosen that one.
They would have taken that one for sure.
But none of us knew whose car it was. So we were all like,
that's weird.
Whose Honda was out front?
Out of the 20 people staying there.
Yeah.
Out of everybody walking outside, who doesn't have a car to walk to right now?
So we were like, whose car is this? No one knew whose it was. The next morning, no one still knew whose it was.
Nobody's car. It's a free car, right?
We were like, we were texting the owner of the Airbnb, and we were like,
someone just stole a car.
Someone just stole a car off your property. And he was like, oh, well, he basically was like, if someone comes to me and says that's my car, then I'll do something. But he was like, I don't like if it's not any of your guys'.
Call police.
Yeah. I was like, okay, like that's fine. So I was.
So nobody came forward as to whose vehicle got stolen.
No.
But someone's car got stolen.
But they watched it. Drive down the street with the car alarm still going.
What?
And no lights on.
How do people not know this? This is
what
that are. I wouldn't be sleeping in the same house as these people if they don't know who.
This seems fishy. Is this like somebody who they're gonna end up like trying to commit insurance fraud or something?
I don't
like
know.
That?
I was like
weird.
So continue the story.
Okay.
So anyway, I was like, at that point, I'm like paranoid.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like.
Brandon's got his car down there with the new wrap on.
No, neither one of us had our cars.
Wait, so you rode with somebody else to get down there then?
Yeah, they just went down as spectators, not participants.
So we were like, oh my god, like. What if they come back, because they got away with one car. They know that there's all these nice cars here. What if they, do, steal wheels or steal whatever? And so we were like, I was on edge. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go back to sleep now because I'm freaked out. Like our room was like basically right up next to where the parking lot was.
Okay.
So I was like, oh my God, like they were literally right outside this window. Like
you were sleeping through it.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh my God. And then I was up for like another 45 minutes just like periodically looking out the front window. They finally ended up like locking the gates. We were just like, whoever's here, like you're here for the night because whatever. So I was like, oh my God, like we're really not in Idaho.
Get some
right
spotlights
now.
out and point them at the driveway, like if anybody comes out, you're seeing them.
Yeah. So we were like, it kind of like set us all off and kind of like didn't really ruin the night, but we were all kind of like not being carefree anymore.
Nobody
sense.
Feels really stoked after that.
Yeah.
Happens,
so we were like, okay. So then that was Friday night. The next day was the day of the show.
Yeah.
And so everyone was really excited for that. We were probably there for about an hour and a half.
That's it?
Yes.
What?
For the whole show?
For the whole show.
Drove all the way to Vegas to go to a show for an hour.
So let's say...
Well, there are a lot of people that do that. Maybe they want to see Pink in concert. Maybe they want to see, Penn and Teller for like an hour. Maybe they want to do, Cirque du Soleil. A lot of people go to Vegas for an hour.
Yeah,
some
but those
people rent hotel rooms for an hour.
Yeah,
and meet new friends
and
then leave.
Yeah, that's true.
Back to their family.
Generally, the people who do that are like maybe they're in L.A. where it's like a 3-hour drive, or
right. Yeah, no, you're
taking
right.
a flight,
you're right.
and then they can go back. Cause
but
it's like $50.
Vegas is an experience like us.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which
so
is
all right. So
anyway.
Continue an hour and a half.
So we get to the show. Okay, roll in, which is when all the cars start parking in the spots. It's supposed to be at 3. We got there, I would say about 4. The parking lot was still empty.
Oh.
And there was still cars supposed to be rolling in, but for some reason they didn't have the organization that they needed to. And the parking lot was still pretty much empty except for like booth cars and like one row of cars.
But this is StanceWars. Those guys are really organized usually.
Yeah. So we were like, why is this? Why? Because when we got there, we needed to shoot basically B-roll of the show before all the public was in there. Because once the public's there, you can't do anything. You can't take pictures because there's constantly people there. So we were like, we need to get like this. We need to get this footage, this content. Basically,
should note, your boyfriend Brandon, he's a videographer, so that's what he does.
Yeah,
I saw Crispy was there. Yeah,
he was. We were when we got there. We were the white car was at his booth, so we were hanging out there for a little bit waiting for cars to roll in, and we were like, okay, well, we'll just wait, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it's literally like 5 o'clock, which is when they're supposed to open the doors, and cars are still being parked. And the cars that are being parked are not
that great.
So it was very obvious that they clearly wanted to sell spots. So they just approved.
Any cars, anybody.
Yeah. Ooh. So
there's people, there's families bringing their minivans.
There was
stuff
literally.
Well, we're just paying for parking. We're going to be going to the Penn and Teller show.
It's cheaper to pay for Parker here.
What?
There was literally like stock FRSs and like.
Oh no.
Just not good.
It's a fun car, but
man, we could have gone down. We could have gone down with all of our rides and totally blown this place up.
Anthony's car for sure would have been accepted.
My Civic?
Yes.
Well, if a stock FRS can get accepted, of course my modified Civic is going to get in.
A modified Civic can get in, then a heavily modified Elantra.
The way it sounds, I probably would have placed.
His sits lower.
Mine is technically more heavily modified than your Civic.
My Volvo before I sold the wheels would have been
A-OK. It's got a cold air intake.
Yeah.
So is mine.
Ouch.
It's got strut brace.
Same.
It's got lowering springs.
Same.
I'm confused
16-inch
because
wheels.
I've seen video from StanceWars Vegas in previous
performance
years.
tires.
It looks like a lot of people show up. It looks like they have no problem doing it.
Upgraded stereo.
What was different this year?
I don't
High-end
know.
speakers.
But I really don't know. The cars just weren't.
That's right. That's what I thought.
What I had expected. I've been to Seattle. Yeah. The Seattle show was incredible.
Well, that's because that's where they started.
Have you? So I think a lot of people just aren't familiar with what kind of people the beautiful city of Las Vegas has, and brings and attracts. I think.
Well, like the discount liquor stores and.
Okay, so what does Seattle have that Las Vegas doesn't have?
Coffee.
No, I'm talking about just the people.
Oh,
but if you live in Seattle, chances are you have some money.
Oh yeah, more money,
in a
maybe,
car.
possibly.
Yeah. In Las Vegas.
It's kind of a hit and miss because people are more transient. They come down. For
I think all the money.
trips.
I think all the money is going to the casinos or going to the pawn shop that is famous down there with Rick and
those guys.
Chumley.
Now, there's also a difference. So there's a lot of people who want to look rich.
But what's crazy though is that this was a car show you were going down to. That was a pretty national,
like a Disneyland trip planned.
A national car show, like truly.
So
you were headed down to,
you guys were
and
disappointed
nobody was there
at the outcome. And then what ended up happening?
So we left. We went to some place that was called like S-Curve, which supposedly was a private road that somebody owned and allowed drifting and whatnot on. So we were like, okay. We obviously didn't have either one of our own cars, so it didn't matter. But we went down there with everybody, and it was pretty cool. People were drifting, and there was a cool road to take pictures on that had like the mountains in the back. So
I saw a video with Nest Chassis doing some drifting. Either you or Brando posted it. And it was cool with the mountains in the background and stuff.
Yeah, so that was that spot, and so we hung out there for a little bit, and then we wanted to go back to the compound, so we did. And then the next morning, basically, we had to leave. So we woke up and got food, and then basically got ready to get on the road. And then the rest of the group, except for the Idaho people, were staying another day. So they were staying all through Sunday, leaving Monday morning. And so they went and got breakfast, and then they went back to that place. And I guess whoever told us that was wrong. And everyone got tickets for, like, unauthorized speeding contests or something like that.
All right.
There's always some law written to get people doing anything remotely like that. I know, like, Ocean City has it set up that way. But when you look at least, I wasn't there. I've never been to that spot. But from what it looked like in the video and picture, it looked like one of those neighborhoods that never got developed. Like, it looked like a street that kind of, like, snakes through a neighborhood, except all the plots of land are just sand and dirt. Like, it's just desert. So it looked like if you're going to do it anywhere, that seemed like a acceptable place to do it. But once again, somebody owns it. They're more than entitled to go and kick you off.
I think Morgan's really going to be different at SEMA for the SEMA roll-in.
Yeah, it's going to be a very different.
I don't think she realized
experience. No, this is
it's
some next level.
Because it was funny because her and Jimmy are like, Anthony, StanceWars Vegas, it's going to be insane. The cars there, the booths, they have booths from like different manufacturers there, which is super cool.
I never said any of this.
And I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, you sweet children. Oh,
just wait.
Sweet. Like, I wanted to just stroke Jimmy's hair.
Trip of the year.
You sweet boy, you have no idea what.
Now, in fairness, understandably, after hearing this, I hadn't heard any of this. This is the first I'm hearing of the disappointment of the show. Being that excited to go do something,
and
then having that
to drive
be the result, and all the work that goes into it, the planning, the setting up, spending money on a freaking compound, like all that stuff, only to be disappointed by the show
and have a car stolen.
How does that feel? And how does that feel at the end? Like,
I was pretty pissed.
Were there tears?
No.
Okay.
Because if I had brought my car, if I had paid to get my car ready, like
drive it,
trailer it, any of that, if I had taken my car, I would have been pissed.
Well, it sounds like if your car was there, it would have been a better show.
Probably. So that's probably why a lot of people were like, I'm not bringing my car this year, and then they're like, oh, this is pretty.
So what's the logic behind that then? Like, I guess I just don't understand how something that's consistently good up to a point can suddenly just have such an off year. Like, you'd think other people who went last year would still show up the next year.
Yeah.
Because there tends to be a lot of loyalty in these kinds of events. Like, the same people go to a lot of them.
Right.
Even if they're across the country, they'll go visit.
Yeah.
So
I think what happened,
just seems odd.
there was a lot of people who paid for spots a couple months ago and weren't able to make it. So they basically just didn't show up. The parking lot was pretty empty. So I think people started to roll up and say, hey, like, I didn't register, I didn't get approved, but can I park in here? Because they didn't have, like, the registration papers in their car. So I think people just pulled up and were like, hey, like, literally people from our friend group pulled up and were like, can we park in here?
Well, and you don't want to bag on a show like that. Like, they definitely have their audience, and it seems like every other thing I've seen of them, they do a really good job organizing it. They're really dedicated, and they seem like really nice people. It just sucks when you have an off year, because then that just creates, like, a precedent that other people then see and go, oh, maybe I won't go next year. And then you see that, and then the whole thing starts a downward spiral. And
So I feel bad because, like, the show that was in Seattle, I think Seattle is always going to be, like, a pretty strong show just because there's
people pretty much built in there that'll go no matter what.
And plus, they get people that come down from Canada with, like, all of...
but Canada has the 15-year import rule instead of 25, so you get a lot more fun stuff.
Right.
Oh, another S15. Yeah, that kind of...
Yeah. But, so basically, a car got stolen. That was probably...
the most exciting part.
Well, so I want to know is that we sent Morgan and Jimmy down with a ton of towels and product to get pictures and content for Instagram.
Yeah, we were thinking,
so when did it end up happening on that front?
I have some things to show you.
Oh, okay.
There were no cars, so
I was gonna say, I'm like, well, if you use the product, who's paying for that?
Turns out Race Wars is next weekend.
Well, if you just use portrait mode just the right amount, you really blur it out. That stock FRS looks like a modified FRS.
Looks like a Ferrari.
Yeah, just right. You know?
Nice. All right.
Anthony, what'd you do?
So my weekend, what did I do? So Friday night was a pretty chill night. Basically stayed home. Did a rinseless wash.
Looked like you were watching a lot of Fast and the Furious this weekend.
I did.
On your stories, I heard the words Toretto.
I was watching.
And I was like, oh.
Well,
then I heard cars screeching.
We had a weird weekend of weather.
Yeah, we did.
It was rainy, cold. I'm talking to the point where it was
sunny
freezing,
and hot.
Then sunny, hot, and it went back and
rainy
forth.
And cold
it was
again.
just not
like
consistent.
A dimmer switch just going.
Yeah.
So basically,
I was out long enough to mow my lawn.
That was me all weekend. Like the second it was nice, I was out doing stuff. The second it was crappy, I'm indoors watching movies. And so Friday night stayed in, rinseless wash on the Civic, just kind of cleaned it up, and it's holding up really well. I've had so much bead maker on that to where the point of washing it now, it still feels slick even when I'm drying the car.
Yeah.
Without a drying aid, meaning I don't need to put any more bead maker on it. As I'm drying it, I'm like, okay, this is really. I
might hurt myself.
Have I put too much on this? No, there's no such thing as too much bead maker. So I washed that. So then Saturday morning, I woke up bright and early. I was up at 7:30 because I had a lot to do that day. I basically had a job planned where I was going to be doing rock chip repair on a 2018 Civic Type R in Championship White over at Garage Slick, which is a local wrap shop and car shop here. And the plan was I was waiting for the Dr. Color Chip kit to come in so I can go out and knock that out, as well as I was also planning on refinishing my Civic headlights and sanding them down with multiple different sanding techniques, polishing them out to perfection, and then PPFing them. And then Steve over at Garage Slick was actually going to help me PPF them and show me the proper way to do that to get it to where it fits around all little curves and stuff. That was the plan. It said that it was supposed to be delivered in the morning. I was waiting for the mail in the morning. Nothing happened, so I said, okay, screw it. It's 9 a.m. I'm going to go down to one of my local junkyards and go fishing for some parts. So I went down all the way to Caldwell. The Caldwell Jalopy Jungle.
Impressive. You went all the way out there for that.
I went out there.
Yeah, it takes him like 5 minutes from where he lives.
Well, what's impressive is that I brought my Civic out there. Now, you don't bring a Civic into Caldwell. And
so, plan to not
especially to a junkyard, because, I mean, in the parking lot, they would have just grabbed it and put it in the pile.
That's what
they'd been like, oh,
you would have heard a car alarm, and then it'd off in the
Anthony's like, whoa, guys, look, this is just like mine. I can get parts off of it.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. It is mine.
This is mine. This is my exact car. No, so I drove out there, and I did put my steering wheel lock on just because I was like, I don't want to be in this junkyard and come out to no car.
Was it the big, like, long bar?
You absolutely.
Yes.
It absolutely
Well,
is.
he's got an S2000 steering wheel on that car.
So, yeah, I can't have that go anywhere. And so I went inside the junkyard. It was kind of funny because out there, just like my other junkyard talks I've told you guys about on the podcast, is that I'm kind of actively searching but not searching. So I said, hey, shoot me a list of Honda Civics. They shot me a list of 30 cars, and I was like, holy crap, here we go. And I started looking around, finding most of the stuff was obviously really beat up. The few things I was looking for I couldn't find, but then I stumbled across one Civic 99 EX, but in silver, that was in really good shape. And I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, so it's got some front end damage, but what's the inside of the car look like? And I open it up, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is my find.
Nobody
for
rode
the
in
day.
the back seat.
Was it still like fully sealed? Like the doors were closed?
Yes,
the windows were up,
it still had most of the interior trim and everything. And
so the
weather
windows
didn't
were
get
up.
in. But I was looking at the back seat and the whole back area of the car, and I'm like, these plastics are perfect. Like literally nobody ever sat in this back seat. And so I said, all right, am I equipped with my small box of tools to remove all of the interior plastics, remove the seat out of the back, do all of this stuff? And I said, okay, I'm just going to go for it, right? So I was there for about an hour, unbolting everything. I took out all of the side passenger plastics. I took out the passenger rear lower seat because mine basically smells like a dog, and a dog lived on that back seat, and this was in perfect condition. So I pulled a new shift boot. There's no holes or punctures, and then I pulled a glove box, and I said, okay, throw it all in this wheelbarrow. Let's see how much this is going to cost me.
Yeah, so it was rear quarter interior door panels.
Yeah, which are big. And I was sitting there like, how can I even get these in the car? So rear quarter door panels, lower seat, glove box, shift boot, and I think that's it. I think that was everything. I might be forgetting one thing. So anyways, whatever. So I loaded it all up. I'm like, all right, let's see how much this is going to cost me. Pull up, and the guy brings it all up, and he says, all right, it's $42.63.
Whoa!
And I was like, $42 for basically an entire rear interior with a new glove box and a shift boot. I said, yes, sir. Here's my card. Dude, I was so pumped. I was like, because God knows, if you were to go on eBay, several $100s because of shipping those big parts. So
junkyards are fun.
It was just a super good score, and I was so pumped. I went home and just immediately installed them. So I cleaned them all up. I steamed the rear carpet, scrubbed it out. It came out perfect. I mean, basically the foam was so structurally good. There was no dents or wrinkles or anything in it. And the second I popped it into the back, it was perfect. And my car does no longer smell like a dog. That's where that dog smell is coming from. It smells perfect. So.
So where'd you put the old seat? Is that upstairs in your bedroom with Katie?
So I need to figure out. So I basically
it's a dog couch
threw it.
Now.
It's now the dog couch.
I threw it on my side, my side yard next to my trash cans, and they're big pieces. These are big things.
Yeah, they barely fit in that trash can.
So I don't know what to do with them. I was thinking about
put them in your front yard with a free sign.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, I have a 99
some guy who's
Civic.
specific.
Isn't there an empty lot across the street you can just throw that stuff in?
No, I was thinking about doing a run and dump at one. And I don't know, why is this illegal? Why can't you just go throw trash in another big trash bin?
No, here's what you do.
That's
you
so
pay
stupid.
You pay $1 to go back into Jalopy Jungle, and you reinstall the old ones into the Civic you took the other stuff out of.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna sit there. Like, I've spent a lot of time doing this.
Well, it's better than being somebody who litters.
We already tried that. You can't do that. They
Yeah.
won't buy back the parts that you buy.
So what I'm gonna do is I guess I'm probably just gonna have to just break them up, or I'm gonna have to find a big dumpster and just go toss them in there. But
waste.
I know and it sucks. I did ask if anybody wanted them for free, and nobody hit me up. And one guy said, "Hey, can you ship them to Arkansas?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not."
I'm like, "Are you paying for it?"
I'm like, "I'm not boxing these up and doing that." So, so I did that, and it felt good, like, you know what I mean, having new pieces.
It looks really good.
Yeah,
and it's kind
really good.
And there's still a lot to go. Like, the front seats are still hammered, and I still need to figure out something for that. But it was just kind of cool where I'm like, dude, this is such an easy car to do this on. It takes no effort, a couple pop clips here and there, a couple screws, and it's like new. So I did that. Then later that day, went over to some friend's house just for a small barbecue. Got to hang out. They ordered 3 boxes of chip cookies.
Nice.
Barbecue.
So 12 cookies.
And they were like 12 cookies amongst 5 people.
Yeah.
And they're like,
"Yo, I heard you like getting
so
fat."
they were like, "So Anthony, how many do you want to eat?" I'm like, "God, I would eat a whole box if I could, but I know I would get deathly ill if I did that." So
I feel so sick.
Yeah, that's not gonna
Those
happen.
are dense cookies, man.
Dude, they're super dense. So then I'm trying to think. So then Sunday, which was just yesterday. Holy crap, man! I actually forget what I even did. I think Sunday was a rainy day for the most part. So I think I pretty much just hung out inside the house, cleaned up a little bit. I ran a couple errands, and I mean, it's pretty low key. But basically, I was just happy to do the Civic stuff, and that's it. That was my weekend. Nothing crazy.
Pretty simple.
I noticed that all day Anthony has a new video out. Looks like it's doing pretty good.
Dude, that sounds like that guy I've been following. He's doing the same things that I'm doing on my
Civic.
Civic.
It's weird. You got to tell that guy to stop copying.
Well, he even got posted on the Rag Company story.
Reposted him?
Yeah, how did that happen?
That's pretty impressive.
I don't know. He must have sent something in and asked us to post it or something.
That was nice. That was nice of us to do that for him.
I really want to find out who this guy is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so this week we don't have a lot to do. We are basically, guys, we're just going to try and promote the rest of the One Wing Challenge.
Right.
We're going to be watching the auction.
Tell
And
a friend.
please share and show that off. And if you want, please bid on the items in question. All of that is going to a good cause. We're doing that all for the United Cerebral Palsy Foundation.
And that's a big thing. Yeah, it's a goofy, fun, crazy challenge and stuff. But ultimately, like, if you actually watch it, and if you've seen it, you already know. But there are some great interviews with the guys in there where they talk about the experience and just, I mean, it's got a heart.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something I'd recommend to anybody, even if you're not necessarily into paint correction. Go check it out. It's a good time.
And we got a lot of people leaving town this week here at the Rag Company.
Yeah. Who's
Tim's getting out of here.
As soon as this podcast is over.
As soon as this podcast is over, You're gonna be gone on Friday?
So
I'm off Friday.
So I'm gonna be here on Friday. I am going to be gone. So I'm gonna come in for a couple hours tomorrow, literally just a couple hours, and then I'm leaving to Arizona for Tuesday evening, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then I'll be back Thursday night.
So what I'm hearing is I'm going to be
Easter.
all alone for Q&A Thursday. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'll be here for Thursday.
Wow.
No,
okay. So if you want to blame somebody for not having Q&A Thursday, you're looking.
How
at
about
no,
this?
because I'm going to be here Thursday.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
How about this?
I'm off Friday,
you,
Dane.
Okay.
Okay,
You're forgiven.
you, not Morgan, right? Bring in the Christmas tree and then mic it and put a pair of headphones on it.
Or we can bring in Morgan anyway, and then have the microphone.
Did you guys go to Cracker Barrel?
No, we didn't.
No.
You weren't here, so we weren't going to go without you.
Right.
Yeah, we said.
Plus, we're still waiting on a
you.
piece of equipment that will allow us to live stream.
So we
from
won't do
the Cracker
do
Barrel.
this week. Maybe when he's back next.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
We can
All
go to
right. Well,
Cracker
that
Barrel.
leaves it a
Oh,
little up in
crap.
the air then.
That's what I did yesterday.
You went to Cracker Barrel?
No, I completely forgot about this.
What?
Probably because I hated it so much.
Okay.
Sunday morning, I had a Grom ride.
Oh,
And
that's
so
right. You did your Grom crawl.
I did our first Grom crawl of the year. Holy crap! I hated it this much
because
that
it was
forgot about
cold.
it. Yeah,
and
so
rainy.
Sunday morning, I woke up. This has been planned for 2 months. Right?
How do you
This Grom
forget
crawl.
that?
I don't know.
Well, because it was a horrible experience.
Yeah, I'm trying to block it out. But basically, for 2 months, we were planning this thing, and we had a pretty large group on Facebook wanting to meet up. And the idea was we were going to ride up through basically Horseshoe Bend, then come out through Black Canyon, down to Emmett for lunch, and then come back into Meridian, Boise area. Well, I was like, okay, the weather wasn't looking good Sunday morning. It was starting to drizzle. And I said, but you know what? I even said in the post, I'm down to ride in light rain, but I'm not down to ride if it pours. I show up to our meeting spot, right, at, I think it was 9:45. First guy shows up, and he's like, hey, man, what's going on? I said, hey, what's going on? So we park underneath this little bank thing, and then we look out there, and then it starts pouring.
Right.
And I'm like, holy crap, dude. And me being kind of OCD, I'm sitting there like, I don't want to ride my Grom in this pouring rain because it's going to get absolutely filthy.
And it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
And he's like, the danger's secondary.
No,
I got all my leather.
I just don't want to have to clean up the dang bike after I'm done because I know it's just going to get absolutely hammered.
Detailers.
And, and next thing you know, I said, hey, dude, all right, if it's just me and you and maybe 1 or 2 other people, let's just go park somewhere with cover and let's just go grab lunch in the village. Let's just go do that. It's much easier. Well, turns out 11 other people showed up, and they were all riding in the rain. They're like, "Dude, it's pouring. Let's effing send it." And I said, "Good God!" I'm like, I organized this event, and I'm already saying I don't want to do this, and they're like, "Let's do it. Everybody's buckled up and ready to rock and roll."
So you did it.
I said, "Okay." So
don't give
by
it,
the
bro.
time we started riding and getting into Horseshoe Bend was about 40 degrees and raining.
That
right?
hill in the rain must be terrifying on a Grom.
So I had the Grom pinned. I was hitting 37 miles an hour going uphill, and my bike was screaming, "Kill me!" It was seriously like. But the problem is that everybody else I ride with on these Groms is much lighter than me. I'm talking these guys are around maybe 150 pounds. I'm 220
They're all built
pounds.
like Tim.
So these guys are flying. I'm sitting here like an ape on this small bike, pinned in this poor. I feel so bad for that bike. And we finally get into town and we stop there, and I'm like, God, I wanted to turn around because I'm free. I'm so cold and wet that I'm like, I can't warm up, and I had even layered up. And they're like, all right, let's continue on. So we kept riding. One dude's entire exhaust fell off his bike as we were riding. We all had to pull over on the side of the road. Almost got hit by a car. Nothing super exciting. And then we finally roll into Emmett, thinking we've reached our refuge, right?
Right.
Well, I've explained it before. Emmett is not a refuge of any sort. It's
a beautiful town.
Sure. And so we pull into probably the only nice establishment, which is Sonic, and we pull into a Sonic. And it again started raining again, and the wind picked up. So at this time, we're underneath this cover, but we're still freezing, trying to eat as fast as we can, and then get back onto the bikes. We ride out, and the entire time I'm riding home, like from that trip, I was just thinking to myself, I wasted 4 hours. My bike is completely hammered in dirt and sand and all of this crap from this ride, and I'm cold and unhappy. Like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to crack open a beer or do something to where I can be happy because I'm about to clean this bike up. And so I got home, ended up cleaning the bike up, and everything was fine. But it was one of those things where you commit to it and you organize it and you think to yourself,
and you didn't want to do it.
I wish I wouldn't have done that. And that's where I'm at.
See, what I'm hearing is I'm a dirty, dirty liar because I looked at an Instagram story that posted a picture. I think it was from that Sonic, from what I could tell.
It was.
And it said, man, this Grom call is like one of my favorite ones yet.
No,
and
I believe it said the coldest Grom
call of the year.
It said Kroll, but then I saw something either favorite or best or something like that, and I'm looking going,
no,
I
didn't see that.
No.
Like it.
That didn't happen at all.
I saw that post and I was like, oh, I bet Anthony's hating himself right now.
It must have been sarcasm.
No,
it had
sucked.
to have been
it
major
sucked,
sarcasm.
And I brought my GoPro because I thought it'd be cool to see some footage. My GoPro didn't have the case on it, right? It had a skeleton case. So the first time I could pull over, I go to pull it out. I'm like, holy crap, dude, this thing's soaking wet. Please don't say I just ruined my GoPro on this stupid ride that I wish I wouldn't have gone on in the first place.
Yeah.
It sucked. And that's where it's like, this is like, what, the fourth winter that we have in spring, and finally, in 3 days, it's going to be 78 degrees.
Yeah.
Like, F me, right?
Yeah,
Welcome
first summer is
to
coming up.
Boise.
We just finished fourth winter.
Yeah.
So first summer comes up. We're missing spring. So pretty great. I'm glad you hated your life on Sunday. All right, Dane, take us home.
All right, crossing over the hour mark, we're in the clear. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. If you're on the Rag Company Podcast YouTube channel, make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell to get a notification every time we release a new episode. Otherwise, you can hang around on Spotify or iTunes or something, see when the new episodes show up. And with that said, I hope you leave us a review as well because that puts us in front of more people. Tell your friends about us, and we really appreciate that too. With all that said, guys, from us here, thank you, and we'll see you later.
See ya.